Hello, my people. Good day to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ujola for Mindset Transformation Africa, and on today's episode, I want to talk about problems, especially how to avoid unnecessary ones. Let me anchor today's episode on this statement. You can avoid unnecessary problems in the future when you take uninterrupted time to count the costs of your lack of action now. You can avoid unnecessary problems in the future when you take uninterrupted time to count the costs of your lack of action now. So today's conversation is about I believe is empowering, but also I believe is sobering. It's about responsibility. It's about foresight. It is about the overlooked price of inaction. So notice I did not say count the costs of your actions. We often hear that. Instead, I am focusing on the hidden price tag that is attached to doing nothing. See, we live in a world that constantly praises action. Do more, be more, hustle, grind. But rarely do we talk about the high price of not doing something important when it needed to be done. I want you to think about it. The conversation you avoided because it was uncomfortable. The apology you never gave. The discipline you postponed, the pain and all the plan that you kept saying you will start tomorrow but never start. Each delay seems very small, seems infinitesimal, harmless, or even excusable in the moment. But time has a way of magnifying what we neglect. The seed you refuse to plant today becomes the harvest you never reap tomorrow. The small leak you ignored in the roof becomes a collapsed ceiling tomorrow. The truth is, inaction always charges interest, all right? The bill may not come today, but when it does come, it is heavier. It is more painful. It is more expensive than the effort it would have taken to start early. See, when I say taking uninterrupted time to count the cost, I mean stop, think, and calculate what your delays, your fears, your pride, or your indifference might cost you if left unchecked. I want you to ask yourself, if I don't have that difficult talk with my child, what kind of adult might they grow into? If I don't repair my health habits today, what hospital bed am I preparing for? If I don't address my financial discipline today, what future debt am I silently building? If I don't learn to forgive, what peace am I mortgaging away today? We often underestimate the compound effect of our inaction. All right, the cost is really immediate. We don't see it immediately, but it shows up when the delay has already turned into a damage. The wise one pause before neglect becomes a regret. And that is the wisdom I'm sharing with you today. See, inaction often disguises itself as comfort. It whispers to you that you should relax. You don't need to do this today. Or why are you stressing yourself? Why stress yourself over this? It's not that urgent. But let's be clear. Comfort today can be discomfort tomorrow. When you trade today's temporary ease for tomorrow's permanent struggle, you've lost far more than you've gained. Comfort is the salesman of procrastination, right? It sells you on doing nothing while hiding the ballooning interest rates of that choice. Comfort is telling you, skip that workout today, but disease may be waiting in the bill. Comfort says, ignore the signs in your relationship, but heartbreak comes later with compounded interest. What feels harmless now may be destructive later. That is why you must count the cost, not of effort, but of neglect. See, here is what makes inaction so dangerous that I want to share with you. See, time doesn't stop for us to catch up. Time doesn't pause so we can fix what we ignored. Think about students who procrastinate on assignments. You've been a student before, and I know you've procrastinated on assignment before. They think they have time, all right? And suddenly the deadline arrives. Panic sets in, stress takes over. The work is rubbish, sloppy, and graded poorly, not because they lacked ability, but because they misused their time. Life works the same way, my people. The deadline for your health, your relationships, your growth, and your opportunities will always arrive. The difference between peace and panic lies in whether you acted early or ignored the moment. Time is unforgiving. Time is unforgiving, especially to those who refuse to respect it. Time is unforgiving. Now, notice the word uninterrupted in our statement. See, you have to deliberately carve out quiet, intentional space to think. Reflection doesn't happen by accident. Our lives are too noisy, our schedules too busy, and our distractions are too constant. That is why you must interrupt your busyness with focused stillness. Stop scrolling, stop rushing, stop filling every empty moment with noise. Sit with your thoughts, my people. Ask hard questions. Do the uncomfortable calculations right now. See, the value of this practice is not just in thinking. It is in preemptively avoiding pain. A few moments of sober reflection today can save you years of regret tomorrow. See, uninterrupted time is like a mirror. It shows you what you don't want to see, but you need to see. It forces you to face the price of neglect before it is too late. See, let me paint some examples so that maybe you see what I'm talking about. When you neglect your health, let me call that person the health neglector. A man ignores every sign his body gives him. Fatigue, constant headaches, weight gain. He keeps saying, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. And years later, the doctor now gives him a diagnosis that requires drastic, painful measures. That is the cost? His health, his finances, maybe even his life. Why? Because he neglected his health. Let's talk about silent parents. A mother that notices her teenager is drifting. Instead of addressing it, she stays silent because she doesn't want conflict. But by the time she finally speaks, the child has already adopted destructive habits. What is that cost? A strained relationship that takes years to rebuild. If care is not taken, even the child might lose. They might never rebuild it, or the child will lose his life. Financial avoider. Someone ignores budgeting, spends recklessly, never learns how money works. When life throws unexpected challenges his or her way, they are trapped under debt, begging for a way out. What is the cost of that? Stress, sleepless nights, lost opportunities. Unforgiving friend. A friend or a person that holds on to the offense. They never forgive. They never release the bitterness. And over time, their circle shrinks and they are left alone. What is the cost of that? Peace, joy, meaningful relationships, meaningful connections. See, every story could have had a different ending if only they had paused to count the cost earlier. The Bible says something in Luke 14:28. It says, for which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? This principle is ancient, but it is also timeless. Builders know you don't start something without calculating what it will take. But let's flip it a little bit. In life, you don't delay something without calculating what it will cost you to ignore it. Neglect has its own invoice. There is a receipt for everything. A wise builder knows if you don't measure today, you will pay tomorrow. So these are the practical mind shift I have for you today. Take a daily pause. Each day, spend like 10 to 15 minutes reflecting on what you are avoiding. Ask yourself, what am I postponing? What am I afraid of? What am I neglecting? Also, write down the cost. Don't just think about them, write them down. Visualize the pain of inaction. Imagine the consequences. This makes it real, not abstract, it's real. Then set micro action. Don't overwhelm yourself with giant tasks. Pick one thing you've been avoiding and take a small step today. Then create accountability. And finally, reframe action as prevention. Instead of seeing action as a burden, see it as insurance. Every effort that you take now prevents future chaos. So, as you step into your day, I leave you with this challenge. Find one area of your life where you've been passive. Take uninterrupted time to sit with it. Count the cost of neglect, then make the smallest but clearest step towards action today. You will be amazed at how it will transform your life.